Ah, another exquisite book completed. But what do I do now to pass the time? I think I have the perfect thing in mind. Hey, welcome guys. In this video I'm doing a review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e tablet. Here we have a 10.5-inch screen tablet, but it feels smaller thanks to its near bezel-less design and super thin body. The screen is almost an inch larger than the iPad's, but the body feels smaller when holding it in your hands. It's probably because the only buttons on this tablet are on the side. It's also narrower than the iPad, thinner and lighter. Like seriously, for its size, this thing is crazy thin and light. Get this, it's even thinner than my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus smartphone. Even though it's incredibly thin, there's no fear of this thing breaking. It feels pretty sturdy thanks to the metallic finish and is a perfect media travel companion. The screen is gorgeous. With a resolution of 2560 by 1600, it has great color pop, awesome viewing angles, some of the best I've ever seen on a tablet. And thanks to its compact design but large screen, this is great for surfing the net or watching videos even while in bed. Perhaps the best thing about the screen is that it's widescreen, unlike a lot of other tablets. This means when you're watching most videos, it'll fill up most of the screen. On the right side is the volume rocker and the power button. Now this might surprise you, but Samsung accomplished putting a fingerprint reader in that really thin power button. And despite how thin it is, somehow it works accurately and incredibly fast. Additionally, for security, there's also facial recognition. Now you would expect dual speakers on a tablet nowadays, and it does that, but by 2 times more. Yup, there are 4 speaker ports, 2 on each end on this tablet. The speakers and sound output was designed by AKG, and Samsung also partnered with Dolby for Atmos sound, which doesn't mean much in a tablet, but it sounds great nonetheless. Let's take a sound sample from about 10 feet away at max volume. It has a backup battery that lasts 24 hours. The motion sensor and contact sensor come with some parts in the box, giving you the option to stick it up with an adhesive sticker or mount. So there is a rear camera, and I have no idea why. Tablets usually come with a rear camera, it makes no sense. The quality is usually bad, and you're better off using a cell phone, and you won't look as ridiculous holding this thing up and taking a picture or recording a video. But this is a thorough review, so let's go over it very quickly. The rear camera is a 13 megapixel camera, which isn't that sharp. The quality is slightly grainy and, depending on the lighting, even blurred. Video is just the same, it's completely lackluster. Even though it's 4K, it looks pretty terrible. Now the front camera, which makes sense for having video calls, is an 8 megapixel shooter, but it's actually absolutely terrible. Even with the best lighting conditions, it's blurry. If Samsung and other tablet manufacturers are smart, they should have got rid of the rear camera and maybe expand the battery into here a little bit and use the rear camera technology on the front so your video calls will look better. Just seems like common sense. Out of the box, it comes with Android 9 with Samsung's new skin overlay, One UI. This one is actually really clean and minimalistic, and comes with something called night mode, which is basically a dark theme built in. The home screen over on the left has Bixby, but you're better off with Google Assistant, and the apps listing is still a cluttered mess and could use a bit of a polishing. Despite the simple design, you gotta ask, what's a Samsung device without some unique features? For example, if you have a compatible Samsung phone, you can answer calls and reply to texts on your Galaxy Tab by syncing it with your Samsung phone. Pretty cool, right? Another thing is that it easily connects with Samsung home appliances and electronics, such as their smart fridges, where you can sync and mirror the screen, which works flawlessly. Now, powering everything is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 670 processor. It's not the most powerful mobile processor available on mobile devices, but it does the job well. The interface is very fast and snappy and is a pleasure to use, especially as a media device. There's an Adreno 615 GPU, which is just mediocre. You won't get the smoothest gameplay with some of the more higher-end graphic games, but to be honest, it's tough to game on a touchscreen this large anyway. In addition, there's 4 gigs of RAM, which is kind of the sweet spot as you can multitask plenty of apps and not drain the battery too fast. So you guys are probably noticing that I'm finding this tablet to be pretty incredible so far, but there's one huge negative point. Up here in Canada, it's about $120 more than the base iPad. Even though it has double the capacity of storage, which is 64 gigs, and it has a micro SD card slot, I just find that it's way too overpriced. You can get some decent laptops at that price point. You are paying a premium price for the Android operating system at the end of the day, which is a much more fun and open operating system than anything Apple's released, but just something to keep in mind that is pretty pricey. There's a 7040 milliamp battery inside that performs pretty well considering how thin the body is. Now, a while back I was traveling and using the iPad, and while I was flying I had Bluetooth headphones connected, and I was traveling for about 4 hours and watching videos. With the iPad, I drained about 19% of the battery in those 4 hours of watching videos. Using the same headphones in the exact same situation for 4 hours, I drained about 25% battery with this tablet. So the battery performance is still stellar, but because of the thinner body than the iPad, you're sacrificing just a tiny bit of battery performance. But there is one thing to make up for that, and that's, of course, it has USB fast wire charging. It takes hours and hours to charge the iPad. This thing will fully charge from 5% to 100% in 2.5 hours, which is amazingly fast. So charging this for 20 minutes will give you a good couple of hours of watching video content, no problem. So I wanted this tablet to be the comeback kid for Android tablets, but it's just too expensive to say that. Depending on where you live and if you're on a budget, you're probably better off buying an iPad for about $100 cheaper. If you're looking for an Android tablet, which is snappy performance, great as a media device, super thin and light, then this is the tablet to get. Overall, if the price doesn't bother you too much, it's definitely worth a tablet worth checking out, and it performs great. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my social links in the video description. Hit that like button, it does help. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.